Referencing and locking cells. In this video, I want to do a quick reminder of how you reference cells and when and how to lock them when you're copying formulas. So in this section we have constants, and then we're going to start over here in the bottom left section where we're going to copy a formula down a row. We can see that the formula we want is a times b plus x. So to start the formula, I hit equals. We always want to grab the values, so the value for a, multiply that by the value for b, and add to that x. And it came out pound value y. Alright. If you're unsure about why you get a strange result, always double click on the formula to troubleshoot. As you can see here, I grabbed the values for a and b, but I actually grabbed the x. Excel has absolutely no idea what the value of x is. So it comes back with a, I can't do that message. So always make sure you grab the value that corresponds with a variable like that. Alright, so it gave us 20.88. That's a great start. Now what? Alright, let's copy it down. So I grab the corner, copy it down the column, and you may think your answers are correct. Always double check. So in the top one, when I double click, I can see it grabbed a and b and the x for this row. However, when I double click on the next one, I can see that it grabbed, it didn't grab a and b, it grabbed b and, well, nothing. But it did grab the x that I wanted. This is what tells you whether or not something needs to be locked. So if you always want to use this same 3.4 and this same 5.2, you have to lock the cells. So I'm going to go back up to my original formula. And here, since it's color-coded, I can see that the blue and the red, or the ones in column C, need to be locked. But how do I know what to lock? Well, remember that every cell is just a combination of a column letter and a row number. So for instance, we have C3, and we know we want to lock this somehow. What part do we lock? Well, we're copying it down from row to row. So every time I move one row down, my constant will move one row down. We're moving in the same column, so it will always be column C, but I do want the row to remain the same rather than to have that move. So I'll put a $ in front of the row number, and I'll do the same thing for C4. It's always staying in column C because I'm only copying it down, but I always want it to be in C4, so I'll lock the 4. Now when I press return and copy it down, it will update appropriately. And double check. Double click inside. Use the color-coded boxes to say, hey, this one moved down because I wanted it to move down each time I copied the row down. But these I wanted to remain constant. Now let's look at an example where we're copying a formula over. So I'm going to go ahead and start the formula, which is the same as it was before. So I'm going to take a times b and add x. Remember, don't grab the x, grab the actual value for x. And this time, we're using the values over here. So this is my new x value. And it gave me my answer. That's a good start. If I copy this over, though, let's look at the next one over. If I double click in here, it moved, because I'm copying over a column, it moved all of the values I've selected over one column. In this case, I did want my x to move over one column, but obviously I don't want my a and b to move, or it's not going to give me anything. And to escape, go back to my original formula, and this time I want to lock, again, my constants, but the row was fine. It just moved over one column, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to lock my column letters by putting a $ in front of the column letters for both of my constants. Press enter. And now when I copy this over, it should give me the correct answers. So it did move the x over, but it left the constants right where I wanted them.